My name's Ted Hope. I'm the co-founder and co-run This Is That. This Is That Corp, to be specific, a New York feature film production company. I've produced close to 60 films, feature films, and through This Is That, I guess we're getting close to 20 now. My first company was called Good Machine, which was also an international sales company in addition to a production company. You know, it's curious, like in every field, that frequently, no matter how notorious the industry is for innovation and all of that, you still watch people get stuck in the status quo, stuck in a rut. And that's probably nowhere truer than the film business. The film medium's 100 years old, but we're still making movies just like we did 100 years ago, both technically in a lot of ways and formally. I was witnessing for a long time the kind of the changes that technology was bringing to us, both in terms of being able to make movies cheaper and cheaper, and our ability to distribute them cheaper and cheaper in new ways. And I was seeing some things that were emerging content-wise as a result. You know, when you start to have a direct address with your audience, you can supply them specifically what you want, whereas previously, because of the high cost of film, you had to try to speak to the widest possible audience. So about a year ago, when everyone else started saying that the sky was falling and that the industry was collapsing, I looked at it with a different set of eyes and kind of felt we had a great new opportunity, and I expected there to be 1,000 phoenix rising, you know, from the ashes, as it were, really tend to take it in their own hands and become a much fuller definition of what a filmmaker was, somebody that took it upon themselves from the very beginning to develop a relationship with their fan and found new ways using the new technology to communicate with them. So transforming cinema from what was a single one-way monologue to truly back and forth, push-pull dialogue, a ongoing conversation with an audience. I'm personally very excited about the opportunity for both crowdfunding and crowdsourcing movies. Granted, it's not a way to get large budget movies financed or made, but on the right scale, it really kind of changes that whole relationship between the creators and the audience. We live in a time where I think most audiences see themselves as also creators. Everyone blogs, or at least has a microblog. They put their photos up on Flickr. You know, they provide remixes of the music that they love. They want to remix the material. They want to have access to it. So why not harness that creative power that's out there, find ways to build that into the film structure, and also then reap the benefits that come from a deeper relationship. You know, that if somebody gets involved early, they're going to feel much more compassion and commitment to the project. I think every filmmaker out there has experienced that odd disconnect when they show an early version of their movie to their family and friends, and they know it's still kind of crap, but they screen it and it seems like the whole audience thinks it smells like roses. You know, and why is that? Well, because they had a closer relationship to the process. They know what the struggle was, and they respond in a positive way. It was interesting when my son was maybe like 6 years old. He said to me one day, you know, Ted, because he doesn't call me Dad, he calls me Ted. Ted, you know, I don't want to be a film director because that's just the person that makes the DVDs, right? What do you call that person who does it all? Who makes the trading cards, the action figures, the video games, the music, like thinks up the whole thing? What is that? And what he was saying was, you know, we don't have a audience-friendly or consumer-friendly term that captures that whole experience. When you say to a child, Pokemon, they understand what Pokemon is. You know, it's not just the games or the card game or the figures or the movies, the TV show. It's everything. But we don't have it for a way to speak to the more mature audience. You know, the studios call it a franchise or brand management, but that's really talking about their business. You know, you can call something transmedia or cross-platform narrative, but it doesn't really sum up the immersive sort of way that movies are evolving. You know, movies, I think, used to always be linear in a straight line, and now they've encompassed so much of our lives. It's become a giant sphere that extends into time, both into our past and our present. Connects with all the things that have come before us, and hopefully we'll find ways to bring in what we still haven't yet to experience. To begin with, it's hard to call film and the film industry a democratic process when it's usually, you know, an individual creator who gives you the core center of the idea, and then the different places of power, be it access to theater screens, access to audience, access to money, is controlled by other forces. That itself leads to a level of compromise. Some of those compromises yield great works of art. Some of those compromises kill great works of art. It's hard to say that we as creators don't self-censor ourselves every step of the way. We want to reach an audience. You know, where is that helpful and where isn't? I like most people who don't make exclusively Hollywood films get grouped under this label, independent. Yet we've always been dependent on whether it's the distributors or the funding sources or the fans. It's been a complete opposite of what the experience truly is. But I think it represents, the word independent, represents the desires that we have, that we can go out and we can do what we want and say what we want, show what we want, experience what we want. That's what people want from that type of cinema.